What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. How's everybody doing? How was the weekend? Anybody in any trades? What's up, guys? Michael, Tim, Wayne, Nico, what's up? FOMC this week. Will you guys trade on that day? Probably not. But if there is a surprise rate hike, then I'll look to do a stream. So we saw last week the Euro Central Bank, they were forecast to keep rates the same. No, I've gone too far back here. So Thursday last week, the ECB, they were forecast to keep their rates at the same as the previous, and they actually ended up raising. Now they did this obviously to combat inflation, and you know, when it comes to the Fed, they keep saying they are data dependent, right? I think I touched on this in the weekly breakdown. So if you guys want to see the weekly breakdown, that is on the channel as well. I posted that this morning. Now, if the Fed is as data dependent as they say, we can see here that inflation was up. Okay, so the previous was actually 3.2. They had forecasted an increase already. We didn't see major moves since, you know, we came out just higher than forecast. So this 3.6 is what was priced in already. And either way, we've seen a jump in inflation. So the rest of the data for the US economy is not too bad. And I think that the Fed could afford to raise again. So it's very interesting to see they forecast to keep the same. And I think that there is quite a high chance that we get a surprise rate hike here. So maybe we come out at 5.75 and see that 25 basis point increase. And then at that point, you know, I might just start up the stream. If we go have a look at something like Euro JPY, you'll see there were quite nice moves after that that interest rate hike last week. Obviously, because it's unexpected, you're getting quite impulsive and big moves here. So there'll be a lot more to work with if we get those unexpected numbers. But if not, then, you know, FOMC as of late has been very tough. What's the bias? Either buys or sells. So let's have a look here. So for my weekly breakdown, this 1930 was a very interesting level. If we look further to the left, you'll notice that we are in a very similar price range as we were here through June and July. So you can see, I'll just mark up this with a gray zone. You can see this range right here. We were basically respecting 1930, 1933. You know, right now we've got a clear resistance area at 1930. And, you know, even though the weekly candle is quite bullish there, I'm still more on the bearish bias. I don't believe that one candle should change an entire bias. So I think that we could even get a wick fall to the downside. Now, what will give us that is definitely the Fed coming out and doing that surprise rate hike. But for now, we can see that prices in this range right here between 1930 and 1915 or 1916. And I said that if we weren't getting breaks above 1930, we could look to just play the range here. Sorry. What do I mean by play the range? Just, take advantage of this range that we are in. And, that could be something like that. With sells off 1930. Looking to target lows here at 1922 and see if we could have runners all the way to the bottom of the range here. So for now, let's see. Previous 4 hour did close bearish off of 1930. Your hourly is kind of just consolidating, but we've had a nice move down from 1930 and a little bit of a pullback to sort of retest some of this structure here. But look at these candles right now. This 30-minute candle is about to close, and you've got quite a steep bottom wick and top wick, and that body is not telling you too much right now. But to me, this does look like we have had a break and retest of this 1927, 1928 to potentially come back down to the bottom of this range right here. So for the bars, there are ideas for bars today. Of course, above 1930 makes a lot of sense. So a 4-hour candle closing above 1930 will be the most ideal there for those bars. And then new 4-hour, if the new 4-hour could give you a bottom wick and then a setup on the 5 here of 1930, that will look perfect. Other than that, we can look for sells in this area still. We'll just see how price is printing out here. I like the 30 minutes, to be honest. How we've sort of had this break and retest, previous 4-hour closing bearish. But there's not too much volume right now. Looks like Comex gave you a nice little drop, but waiting for that 30-minute to close, see if we close bearish, and then see if you get a nice move starting to happen. So if we do start to move down here, what I could look for is somewhat of a a break and retest of this 1925, 1926. Or sells below 1922.5. But I don't really like this little consolidation, so I want to see some volume. I don't mind not being the first into the trade. I want to see that volume come in, and even if we do get like, it's probably not going to happen, probabilities are low, but let's just say we were to drop 100 pips, right? I don't mind missing out on that and waiting for some cleaner structure on the 5 minute. Those 30-minute candles are really ugly. Really ugly. Now, I can't ignore that the daily candle and the weekly candle are bullish. Obviously, this is a bullish structure on the intraday time frames, like the hourly time frame. We can see we forming higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. We haven't necessarily broken the structure yet, so buys do make sense. It's just this 1930 being a rejection zone is pretty tough. But if there was something convincing, you know, maybe after another retest of 1925, I could look at something. This range is ugly though. But let's see. Yeah, that 30 minutes not telling you too much. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Anyone else in, or should I say, is anyone in any trades? How's it going? Is it sales? It could be anything. What's up, Faraz? Abraham, my cousin. What's up, Kay? Justin? Iris? Vivian? Hectorino? And team, what's up? I like it. Hey, what's up, Med? Or Mo? Let me say Mo. Are you guys ready to smash the week? FOMC this week. Hopefully we get some fireworks. If Jerome can hit us with a rate increase, we should surely get fireworks. V-Man Bobs, GJ Soul. Do you think we will get a nice move this week for our entries? I'm sure we will. Even if FOMC doesn't bring what we want, you know, the next day, I'm sure that NYC or New York session should be moving quite nicely. So I'm actually going away on Thursday. So I don't think that I'll be able to stream. But what I can do is maybe send through an analysis to the Discord, if that's what you guys would like to see. So I do think the following day from FOMC, you know, you could get some carryover and some continuations. Dollar is just consolidating coming into the week. So no clear direction there. You have a Discord? Yes, sir. Link is in the video description. Last time EU raised, they raised in the US. I don't see why they wouldn't. So this is the CME FedWatch tool. This just shows you the probabilities of the, here we go, target rate probabilities for 20th of September Fed meeting. So there is a 99% chance that they keep rates the same. That's what's currently being priced in by the market. So if we see that rate hike, it's gonna give you some moves, much like what happened on Euro pairs last week. And you know, that's pretty solid trading conditions. Very volatile, but you're gonna have clear direction. So this is Euro USD, and you can just see that drop. And then I just had a look at this move to see you know, something we could expect to see on the dollar, sorry, on gold, with if the Fed does raise. You can see we were basically ranging here on Euro USD. You had these lows at 1.069, whatever. Yeah, gold price is a lot easier to call out. Too many numbers on this pair. So even if you missed out on this whole drop, which, you know, it's safest to miss out on this drop, although you can start to get in here once these 5 minutes consolidate. You know, this is a setup I call a biltong, where you get a weak bullish candle and, you know, strong bearish candles, and kind of like sell stop on the break of that low. You know, that's a pretty clean setup there. But once you actually broke the structure here at 1.069, you had a pullback, sort of like a little fake out there. And, you know, here you start to get opportunities. You know, so if you get a surprise rate hike, that's pretty much like what I would like to see. That sort of scenario. Oh, not too much going on right now. I think we'll probably end up waiting for the 4 hour candle to close in 22 minutes. This weekly candle does look like more of a rejection to the downside. You basically came down to 1903, which was a strong rejection zone here in the past. But I don't want to be expecting crazy continuations to the upside, because, you know, if we don't have the volume to be breaking above 1930 today, and then on Wednesday the Fed comes in and raises rates, I don't think that this weekly candle will end up closing bullish. But overall, we'll just follow the price action. Like I say, this range here to the left, we could very well just be in that same sort of range, and then looking to just play the range at least today and tomorrow. So here's this 1930 level that we currently sitting at today. When we were ranging in this literally the same range back in June and July, and you can see how we came up into 1930 on this particular day at NYSC exactly, and saw some nice rejections. And at that point, you can start to look for those sells of 1930. So looking for something like that today. Don't know if we'll get that sort of move, but it's possible. Anything is possible. Yeah, there's some nice rejections. 5 minutes looking a little bit cleaner here. I'm not going to see an entry right now, but we look like we're getting some clearer direction. I think you need to wait for the 4-hour candle close. Although this 15 is going to close nice and bearish. So I think that it looks like direction is clearing up, even though we're still ranging. Is we can see that we had this rejection of 1930, which is that key level, and we had a nice move down through London, and then since Asian close, you've just been pulling back with very low volume, and then New York Open, you had another pullback to this level, retesting the structure, retesting these highs, rejection at Comex, and then sort of just had another minor pullback, and we're starting to see a little bit more volume to the downside. Nice big 5-minute candle. So we could anticipate that price begins to move down, but I don't necessarily want to be taking entries. You know what, that doesn't look too bad. 20 pip stop. I'm gonna see what the first 5 minutes of the new 15-minute candle does. Okay, so that 15 closed very strong. You can see here that we do have a support right here. But let's see if we've got enough volume coming off 1930. That support shouldn't be too much of an issue. Now, I'm not too eager to just hop in immediately on the 15-minute open. We don't have much of a top wick. I wanted to wait and see what this 5-minute did. First 5 minutes of the new 15. So if that new 5-minute could have actually closed like a doji or a very weak bullish candle, then I could have looked at some sort of entry there, but looks like we're getting a drop, tapping into 1925. So it's a bit fishy. But as I said here, you know, looks like we've, I don't know how you would word this, accumulated enough orders, but you can definitely see volume is picking up. Look at the size of these candles. All right, but right here we didn't have too much direction. Now you've got that direction. So I'm anticipating that volume comes into the downside, but I can't just randomly enter the market. Need to wait for an entry. We just broke previous 4-hour lows. Am I wrong in saying that if you look at the Euro USD 1-hour chart, do you also see a double top forming? Is it not valid? I don't know, bro. It depends how you define a double top. It completely depends on your definition of a double top. I can't tell you what is right and what is wrong. There are no rights and wrongs, really. You know, maybe more of a triple top or quadruple top even. But essentially, it's telling you the same thing. It's telling you the same thing. What is a double top telling you? Tell me there in the chat, J-Bone. I really want to know if you know what a double top is indicating to you. Or is it just a pattern you look for? Because then, oh boy, I have a lesson for you. Are you in? No. Unfortunately not. Or fortunately. Fortunately, I'm sticking to my plan. Last week, I jumped the gun on... No, J-Bone. Okay. Come, bro. Let's teach you a valuable lesson here. You see, you cannot follow patterns blindly. When I say blindly, I mean what you are doing right now. A double top indicates a sell. No, it does not. It does not. It may be a confluence for a sell, it may be a confirmation, but you need an entire story that you've built up of what price is telling you. And then that double top is maybe the cherry on top. But it's not indicating fuck all by itself. It is a simple pattern. Patterns are not going to get you very far. You need to know what is that pattern indicating. So what is it indicating? Let's have a look. How would I define a double top? Well, of course, if you put it simply, when we are talking just, like primal stuff, a double top would obviously be where price comes up to an area, once, twice, and then, you get that sell off. But what this is really indicating, and this is how I want you to see it, and you don't need to see it this way, you don't need to listen to me, but this is what I've found to work and what is very powerful. So understand trends, understand market structure. So right here you can see that we are pushing bearish. You have a pullback and price forms a high. Okay, when we come back into that high, we are failing to create new highs, which that at that point could indicate that that bullish pressure has depleted. But I think when you look at it so simply, like, oh, it just indicates a sell. No, you're shooting yourself in the foot. It's a very shallow way to look at things. Look deeper. Do more research. Educate yourself. You get me, J-Bong? How long have you been trading? Here's a double bottom, right? Okay, so we can go through this example. Right here we can see gold was moving bullish. We were forming higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and so forth. Okay. And then we can see that price started to pull back. And what you'll notice within this pullback, since that higher time frame structure was bullish, what you'll notice in this pullback is that you get lower time frame bearish structure forming lower lows, lower highs. So here you form a low at 1922.5. Okay. At this point, we're still holding this lower time frame bearish structure, and you see us come into the same level. And you can see that we are failing to create new lows. Instead, we respect this support and we start to move back in line with this higher time frame bullish move. But what would have got you to take those bars or take advantage of those bars? Understanding that we were moving bullish at that point in time, building up a story of what price is telling you, like I say, getting an idea of what the higher time frame is doing. Maybe you would have looked to the left here and noticed some previous key level in price and seen, okay, if price respects this area, then, look at this structure out here. Higher highs, higher lows. Once you form a high in an uptrend, if you get a pullback and form a low, your idea there is to see if you can target these previous highs. So at this point, we had an hourly candle closing bullish, but maybe that wasn't enough for you. So you wait. You wait and you wait and you wait, and then you're looking at the 15-minute, and you see, okay, we've pulled back into this sort of support here. You've got a bullish engulfing candle on the 15. Maybe I want to take that entry, and that would be a double bottom. So that would be just an extra confirmation. But I've already got everything else that has really led me to see these bars. This was just that final confirmation. It's not like I saw the double bottom and said, oh, bars. You know what I mean? Break of structure, yeah, maybe you would want to even wait for a break of structure. You don't always need to take it at the bottom. You could see here you had a resistance. So, you know, this is a safer trade idea, especially in this time, Asian session. Maybe you wouldn't have wanted to take trades in this small range, wait for a break of the structure, wait for a retest. So you don't even need to take this double bottom, but it is just indicating to you that we're failing to create lower lows here, and that if we can create a new high, then we are moving back in line with this higher time frame bullish structure. And then you can see this strong bullish momentum. At that point, you're anticipating that sort of momentum to come back in. Hey, this 15-minute did something. But this is fine. This looks good. Now it's just a matter of seeing where that new 4-hour candle pulls back to. So we could pull back to 1925, but that doesn't really make sense in terms of previous structure. I think a pullback to 1926 will look really clean here. So you can see that this 4 hours closing nice and bearish. You just need a bit of a top wick on the new 4 hour. That top wick, like I say, could just come up to 1925. But 1926 or even 1928 will be a lot safer here. That would be a very steep top wick on the 4 hour. But it's normal in this time. You know, you can easily get a 50 pip top wick on a 4 hour candle. So 1925, no, it could be, it depends how price reacts there. I don't want to rush sales at 1925, considering, you know, I don't really see any real nice structure here. I would like us to pull back to 1926. 1925, you know, I look at these psychological levels quite closely at times, but right now we're very close to this level. I don't know, I feel like we would need a deeper pullback, grab a bit more liquidity before that continuation. Maybe that's not the case, but we'll see how this 4 hour candle opens up right now. So we've closed nice and bearish. You know, this is just indicating rejections of 1930. It's a little bit tough if you want to look at the 4 hour like this, that we've got a support right here and you never closed below there. But I'm taking this as this is a clear indication of nice bearish volume coming in. So like I say, if I can get a pullback on the lower time frame, retest 1926, even 1928, and get some confirmations up there. Then I can start to look for those sells. You've already tapped 1925. Let's see. I'll be honest, I'm hoping this is not the top wick for the 4 hour. But it might just be. So you are getting a rejection of 1925. So this setup on the 5 minutes where we can see we're clearly moving bearish, and then you get a very weak bullish candle on the 5. If the next candle breaks the low, you're anticipating that bearish move to continue. So if this 5 minute, even though it broke the previous high, you can expect the first 5 of the new 4 hour to be a bit more volatile. So we did break the previous 5 minute high, but if you come and break the lows now, after retesting 25, you could start to see that that push, at least to the daily lows here. But I would look to be having runners to possibly 1916. But I'd rather wait. I'd rather wait a little bit. First 5 minutes. Really hoping for that retest of 26. Think it will be better. Yeah, I agree. Definitely agree. Even to 28. Pull back all the way to 28. Things might get choppy. But yeah, first 5 minute closed bullish there. So let's see if we can come up, tap 26. Chat, give me 2 minutes. Just need to go to the toilet. I would be waiting for a confirmation on 5 minutes. Last week I took too many entries on the 1 minute. I found wasn't really waiting for the 5 to give a proper closure. So I think this week I'm rather gonna play it safe, wait for those 5 minutes to close. And this idea could take a couple 5 minute candles to play out. Maybe we get another bullish candle moving up, then like a rejection candle, and then we can start to look for those sells. But just give me 2 minutes. What's up, Uncle Ned? This 5 minute looks decent. Like a nice rejection of 25. Easy. So if I do get these cells setting up, I would like to target the the lows here at 1922.5, and then zooming out, just looking at this range. Sorry, this looks a bit messy. Just looking at this range right here, I would look for runners into 1916.5. Previous 15-minute candle also had no top wick. So, we could come create that top wick for the previous 15, tap that 26, and start to see that move down. This 15-minute, however, if it does close engulfing the previous 15 and back above 25, then I would rather wait for NYC. But there is 18 minutes until NYC, and the price action looks good if we could get rejections here. NYC could even bring us back up to 1930. So this 15 minutes, we've broken above 26 here. Looks like you'll close quite strong on this 15. I'd rather wait at this point. Your cells triggered? No. No, I was just setting these TPs out in the meantime, in case we got those rejections there at 26. But we blasted straight through. No confirmations for cells. Just be patient. The 4 hour, like I said, you basically closed right at this 4 hour support. So maybe having some issues from that. But 1930 is definitely going to be a stronger level here than 1923. So if we come back into 1930 reject, I could even look for cells of 1930. If we do break above 1930 at that point, I would be open to buys. But right now, I don't see any buys here for me. This could very well be the 4 hour just grabbing a lot of liquidity to get a nice move to the downside. But I also don't want to anticipate anything crazy due to obviously FOMC being later this week. We might just range for this session. What's up, Mesa Petty? Folks are talking about gym here. Tuna. Yeah. I hope you put mayo with your tuna. Easy. Ja, eh? Okay, not really what I wanted to see here today. So let's see what NYC does. Can you guys see these gray lines that I have on the chart? Or are they very faint? Okay, cool. I had a cheat meal today and all I had was chicken schnitzel with mayo. I love mayo. I've been craving it for so long. Oh, and I had a Pop-Tart. But I hit a new PR on squats today, so I treated myself. Sell from 1930 will be good. TP 1916. Yeah, if we can get rejections at 1930, then any entries from 1930 are going to have a much higher probability of surviving all the way down to 1916. If we were taking entries, let's say we got that set up of 1926, and we took something like this, wanting runners down to 1916, here, you could possibly get a nice push down to 22, secure some profit, move stop loss to break even, and then maybe if you get another retest of 25, you get stopped out there. So your runners will get stopped out, but if you could get the sells of 1930, you're anticipating hard rejections of 1930, especially in this time with this volume. And then that's giving you a little bit more range to work with here. And you're less likely to get stopped out at break even with your runners down to 1916. But I mean, it's tough. We have to see what happens at 1930 for now. Even though the 4-hour closed bearish, we can't ignore that this sort of intraday bullish structure is still holding. And this is a lot of bullish momentum right now. So below 1930, I'm still open to sells, but if this 30-minute closes back above 28, we could easily see a continuation to the upside in this session. So if we get that sort of break and retest above 1930, I think those are going to be the safest buy ideas, but you could even get that sort of retest of 28. And if you could get an entry of 1928, let's say, that gives you enough range to move up to 1930. Um, that could be an idea as well. But I would stay out now personally. I'm just going to wait for NYC. No clear direction yet. Well, yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, price is just ranging at the moment. I'm still more bearish below 1930 just because this is such a strong level of resistance. But no, right now this pullback is a little bit deeper than I was wanting to see on the new 4 hour. So we'll have to see what happens at 1930. NYC gonna liquidate London first. Yeah, good way to look at it. Oh no, Wayne, I've been having some dirty cheat meals. So this was the first cleaner one in a while. But like I said, I had Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts are, I don't know if you've ever had Pop-Tarts. I think they're imported. But I saw them at Spa the other day and I went especially to get them because I've been eyeing them out. Got hot fudge sundae. I ate them in the car, won't lie. Could this be just a Judas swing? What on earth is a Judas swing? Looks like it's rejecting 1928. Could be a, yeah, could be. Could be. One thing, yeah, that, I like to look at the DXY, but I also like to say that at the end of the day, I'm not trading the DXY, I'm trading gold. So I don't like to look at it too closely, but just to get a correlation and, we zoom out, we can see the dollar has been nice and bullish, but you have been consolidating here for basically a couple days now. And just looking at what's happening, this range is clearly not really something you can decode. If you could tell me what's going on in this range, then I don't know. But to me, that's not really like telling me too much. But what I can see is that, this last 30 minutes, we're clearly struggling here to continue moving up. And what we may see on the dollar is that we start to pull back here. 105.5 is an extremely strong level to the left. So what we could see here is possibly a pullback to 105. We haven't really had a proper retest of 105. And then if you're getting that kind of pullback on the dollar, then the gold buys do start to make sense. But then you would want to see us sort of breaking out of this little box. So if we're seeing a weaker dollar in this session, sure, the buys are not looking too bad. You know, this is a lot of momentum to the upside. Right now, to me, it's looking like more than a pullback. This is essentially like a biltong setting up here above 1928. And this idea gives you range to 1930. It's tough. NYC is in 3 minutes. I'll sort of, you know, maybe paper trade this sort of idea, but I wouldn't be in a rush to take that. Because we could still see these rejections at 28. Just want to wait for NYC. 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Market has been sleepy Joe today. I think it might be tomorrow as well. So what I like to do with the 4-hour candle close coming into NYC is just take note of, is this 4-hour candle closing in line with the daily candle? So Friday's candle was obviously bullish. All right. Now this 4-hour is bearish. So it's giving you conflicting signals there, which is not always ideal. But then something I also need to take into account with those scenarios is key levels. So, you know, my main area of interest today is 1930. I think regardless of whether the daily and 4-hour is lining up, if we're getting rejections of 1930, we can be looking for sells off of the lower time frames from this area. But on the flip side, we can see that the 4-hour, like I say, you know, didn't close below this support. So if this 30-minute is closing, engulfing the previous 30, closing above this resistance or the structure here, then, you know, with the NYC volume, you may get those bars. But let's see. We have closed bullish, engulfing on the 30, but not above 28. Still closed like below the structure. 15, you know, if you want to mark your resistance there, 28, you've still closed below. So if I'm going in line with the 4-hour, then this should be the 4-hour top wick. but that 30 minutes is very tough, very strong bullish. Your 5 minute has closed as a nice confirmation there, but I'm gonna wait for the first 5 minutes of NYC to close and give me some further confirmations. You entered? No. I'll tell you when I enter. Yeah, please, Nico. You need to catch up. Now, what's fishy is that we're getting a drop straight off the bat here at NYC. I'm not convinced with the sales anymore, the way that 30-minute candle is looking. Not just yet. I think for safer sells at this point, you would want to see breaks below 1924 or 1922.5. I think that'll be the safest option. With the way this 30-minute candle closed, I think it's safest to just hold off there. Unless you got the more aggressive sells off of the first rejection, yeah. But I probably wouldn't have been entering right at NYC open. So, you know, that looks clean. If this 5-minute candle here was the first 5 minutes of NYC, I would be in here. But, you know, this first 5 minutes has just ripped to the downside. So let's see how we come into 1925. Because with NYC, often what we see is a pullback into a psychological level. We can see 25 is right here by this support from earlier. You know, you've had reactions from 26, 25.5. So let's see, you know, if we could see something like this. This could be the bottom wick for the new 30 minutes. And then if you could get entries down here, we're looking to target 1930. But it's tricky right now. It's quite choppy. You know, just wait. This 5 minute is currently impulsing to the downside. JPY bank holiday today. That wouldn't affect us in this session. It's a strong close at NYC. You may just continue to drop here. Look, this stop is not terrible, but that's tough. The thing is, with the range to work with here, it's not great. I would maybe rather wait for the 15 to close if I want to consider sells within this range still. This gold zone doesn't inspire that much trust, in my opinion. Yeah, not right now. You just gotta wait. Just gotta wait. It hasn't moved all day. Let's see. It looks like your pair hasn't really moved since the news. FOMC is gonna bring something this week, gents. Don't worry. Don't worry. So yeah, maybe that was your top wick for the 4 hour. I mean, you're just about to flip bearish, but in terms of entries, you just want to really be patient here. Patient to pull the trigger. But like I say, I'm also open to this being a support being formed on the 30 minutes, looking for a push to 1930. So if this is your pullback at NYC to grab more liquidity to continue moving up, then we can still look for rejections here off 25. But yeah, it's very choppy, so just be extremely patient for confirmations and for entries. Is this a sell? Well, it could be anything. Just zoom out as well. You know, look at the 30-minute candles right now, printing side by side. So even though the 30 minutes are printing side by side, doesn't mean you can't take a trade on the 5 minute. But you know, you need to be well aware of what you're looking for. Be very specific in what you're looking for and very patient to wait for your setups. That 4 hour candle just flipped momentarily. So we'll see if it actually breaks these lows. What's up, Storm? Daily bars are confusing. Currently a doji, but could flip bullish. Yeah, I mean, if it's a doji, it could flip bullish, it could flip bearish, eh? So like I say, you know, I like to look at the daily candle and the 4 hour candle coming into NYC. But what I mentioned as well is just taking into account key levels. So if we look at the hourly time frame, for instance, we can see that you're in this range once again between 1930 and 1916. Now you can see how this level held for pretty much the whole of it's been like almost 2 weeks we held 1930. So even though the daily is bullish, like I say, if you're rejecting 1930, that's going to hold more weight than the daily candle being bullish, I believe. Right now, considering we don't have a catalyst, the idea with the sells today is to just play this range right here. But there is still that possibility that the daily flips bullish, of course. So you're having a pretty difficult time at the lows here. Let's see how this 5 closes. Although 15 is going to close strong bearish. Are you in mood to gamble on these 1925 bars? Oh shit, maybe. Maybe. You know, this 1924 is basically a 4-hour support. And with NYC volume, if we are failing to break these lows, getting rejections here, closing back above 1925, then I do believe we could potentially see a move back up to 28 here. And then, like I say, we haven't come back up to 1930, and price really does love to come back to these sort of key levels. So I wouldn't be surprised if you did get rejections from the lows. It doesn't even necessarily have to be off 23. Let's say we come down into 22.5. If you're not breaking below and you get, breaks back above 25, you could easily look for moves up to 1930. But it's going to be choppy in this range the longer we sit in this range. But for now, we got, we don't have the cleanest direction, but we've got volume for sure. Nice big candles on the 5 minutes. Should be fine if you put a 25 pip stop loss. Let's see. Need like 20 pip stop. Hopefully not too much more. Ah, fuck. Oh, it's gone. It's gone, chat. You see now the new 15-minute opened up, so yeah, the 15, it's tough. It did close bearish for sure, but I'm getting rejections off here. What I'm seeing is that we could see a push back up to 28. So my idea with the buys here would be to see if the new 15 gave you a little bit of a wick down. Now you've opened up with no bottom wick, so that makes it very tough. So I'm not in here, just keep that in mind. But this would have been the idea, and looking to target 1930. Now, since we have no bottom wick, it's pretty tough because, price could easily come back, create that bottom wick. But I think that with this pullback at NYC, that you've maybe grabbed enough liquidity to start moving up here. So we might not even get the bottom wick. But that's tough. If you're going to just start pushing now, then it's pretty much overs for me. This hourly candle could close bullish back above 1925. New hour even gives you a pullback into 25 again. I don't know. I think it's almost time to call it a day. The fact that we did open up with no bottom wick throws a spanner into the works. The whole idea with waiting for the bottom wick is it gives you safer entries. And when candles are opening up with no bottom wicks, then we start to see funky things. Like I say, this candle could come back at any point and form that bottom wick. So it's tough. It's tough. This is just funky price action ranging. Like I say, you might get that push up to 28 and 30 now, but I've missed the ideal entry here. So if that was my entry, stops would have been 20, 22 pips max. Could have had a good risk to reward. But now what do? I have to maybe wait for this 5 minutes to close. Then what am I going to do? No, I'm not going to take that. So could wait for the hour candle to close. But honestly, chat, I think I'm going to call it a day. Very choppy. The idea was there for those bars, but that was tough. I like to wait for that little bottom wick to form. But there it is. If anyone took the buys, as you move into these highs here of this minor range at 28, look to even secure some. I don't know if anybody did take this, but look to secure some. And I would move my stop loss to entry at this point, just given this choppy price action. If you've got enough momentum here, you should break these highs and get a nice push to 1930. If you don't, you might as well just range and rather take the break even on your runners there. Before you go, let's take a sell. If it taps 19, you're mad. Nice, Hectorino. Oh, so you were in the mood to gamble the 25 bars. But yeah, it's tough. Like I say, the 15, no bottom wick. And also the way the previous 15 closed. Anything could happen here. In fact, man. Freeman, what you say, sells. Look at the 15. The 15 flipping back bearish after such a steep top wick. Be very careful in the bars now. Like I say, zooming out, understanding we've had those rejections of 1930 already. With the NYC volume, right now it's just been ranging. You haven't had a clear move. But based off of the 15 minutes, you could begin to push down now as we flip bearish. Yeah, that's a nice kind of top wick there on the 15 minute. Maybe those sell ideas come into play. Sells do look like they're ready to go. So you know, this is why I say wait, because you know, if there's volume, then something will line up. But don't be too trigger happy and just rush trades. Jesus. This 5 minute looks pretty classy. Now, I want to wait for this 5 minute to close. We need to obviously just take into account this level here at 1924. So maybe even if we could close like this on the 5, then sell stopping on the break of the previous 4-hour low is pretty ideal, because you've got an idea here of what's going on with the lower time frame. Understanding that if this is the 4-hour top wick, you know, it's grabbed enough liquidity now for that move. So it's not just like an impulse entry on the break of the previous 4-hour low. As soon as the 4 hours opening up, we've got a bit of information here. Got the rejection of 28. 15 minutes, given it time to give us an idea of what's going on. 5 minute is still choppy, you know, but if this 5 can close engulfing and close below, let's say 24, 24.7, 24.8, like that, then your next 5 minute could start to push down here. And if we're breaking the previous 4-hour lows with this volume, after grabbing some nice liquidity, we could see that push into the daily lows. It's not that much range, gives you about 10 pips, but if we can then break the daily lows and you still have enough volume, we can easily look to target 1920. But yeah, this is a tough little area here. Okay, so that 5 minute is closed below 25. Let's see. Stop loss would be about 25 pips here. like I say, taking it on the break of the previous 4-hour low, I think will be safest in this scenario. And then stop loss above the previous bearish 5-minute high at 26. Still looking for runners down to 1916.5. Yeah, so I actually just got a sell stop set at 1923.5, stop loss 1926. Okay, and I'm in chat. Sell stop has been activated here. I'm gonna make 1920 TP1. And I'll just mark it up as the break-even point for now, but we need to just be very careful at 1922.5. Stop loss 26 flat, yeah, for me 26 flat. Alright. So your hour candle actually just closed. Closed a very minor bullish candle, but look at the 30 minutes. So it looks like we just made a top wick on the 4-hour. Let's see if we can come and break this previous 5-minute low, which is the previous hourly low. And then, you know, we've got an easy 10 pips to the daily lows here at 22.5. And like I said, at that point we need to be very careful. We could get rejections there. I was bearish on the broker. That's like a doji. Bearish doji. Okay, so we're breaking previous hourly lows. It is the first couple minutes of this new hour, so always a little bit tricky. But based on the lower time frames and based on the 4 hour, having created a very nice top wick, already grabbing a lot of liquidity, you know, I'm not expecting to get too deep of a pullback on this on the new hour. So there we go, starting to push. And so the current daily candles low is at 22.65. So if we can break that low with enough volume, we could get a break of 22.5. Nice 1, 2, 3. We kind of came into this support, seen a little bit of a rejection. Didn't quite tap the daily lows. But let's see how the first five closes here. We still look like we're nice and bearish. I'm gonna close below all the noise. Yeah, that's true. That's actually very true. all this noise finally got a nice closure below. Even though the support is right here. So it's a tight little zone, but overall still looking good for that continuation down. At least to come and retest the daily lows. And then we'll see if we can get a breakthrough. I don't know why I feel a biltong coming on. Oh, look here, look here, look here, look here. 8-hour candle. So I know no one really uses the 8-hour, but I have a look at it now and then. So the 8-hour candle actually closes coming into NYC as well with that 4-hour. So that's 8 hours of information and data right there. And, you know, nice bearish candle off of 1930. Current 8-hour got a very nice top wick. So what could the next 8 hours potentially do? You know, we could start to mirror this candle here. I think that makes sense. So this 5 minutes, I'm okay if we do close bullish like that. As long as we're not closing engulfing the previous 5, that's going to be a little bit tricky. Although your hourly candle can still wick up to 1925. It's just tough, obviously, getting close to the stop. You know, just managing the drawdown, keeping the losses small. Something to think about. If this 5 closes engulfing the previous 5, then I will look to manage my position. So close out some of that trade in a loss, keep the loss very small. But for now we look okay. Let's see. I don't know, like I said, I kind of sense a biltong coming on. That could be it. Okay, so you've closed bullish on the 5, like I say, not engulfing the previous 5 and still below this previous structure. So I'm not going to do anything just yet in terms of management. With my stops over here, like I say, I've given this enough leeway to wick up to 1925. Biltong. Come on. It's the last 3 minutes of the 15 minute. So let's see if this 5 can do some work and we close below 22.5 on the 15. We should have a pretty easy job here getting that push to 1920. If you're closing like that on the 15, then it's going to be tough because you're closing kind of back above this minus support. And closing bullish on the 15, I think is just a no. I don't want to see the 15 closing bullish. Okay, tapping 1925. So I need to see us respect that level. Now, like I say, on the 30-minute and hourly, there was that possibility to get a top wick to 1925. So now it's just a matter of if we respect 25 or not. I don't want to see us pull back too much deeper. Yeah, chat. Hey, I think this is going to be a stop here. 15 is about to close bullish, so I'm going to close out 50% here at least. Yeah, I'm going to close full. Yeah, I'm closing full, chat. 15 close bullish above 25. Okay. Yeah, tough times in this range today. Negative 18 pips. So yeah, very choppy here on the dollar. You know, it looked like we had a nice liquidity grab on that new 4-hour. Nice top wick there. Came back, closed bearish, and then obviously with this first push down, I didn't really get anything there, but saw that wick up on the new 15. Looking at that as just grabbing a little bit more liquidity before we got moving. We had this structure forming on the 5, took it on the break of the previous 4-hour low, and yeah, came just shy of the daily lows, not really tapping the daily lows. I was anticipating us to get to 22.5 and, you know, see how we react to that level, but yeah, tough. We rejected before then. So overall, you know, this range might get a little bit tricky now tomorrow as well. We're still trading between 1930 and 1922. So I think probably going to be safest to wait for a break out of this range now. I'll check you guys tomorrow. Thank you for joining. Take it easy, chat. That's going to be me for the day.